All right. Buenas noches a todos y todas. Acogemos al Grolier. Voy a hablar en mi español topísimo para hablar con ustedes en español. I'll also be speaking English for the people who are not Spanish speakers. Welcome to the Grolier. We're very happy that all of you are here for this reading tonight. It's a pleasure to have four phenomenal poets in our presence to hear their poetry and experience their words. Pido a todos que están aquí que silencias tus teléfonos móviles, aunque no tenemos ninguna interrupciones durante la presentación de la poesía. I ask that you all silence your cell phones, please, so that there are no interruptions during the reading. And on behalf of James and myself at the Grolier, my name is Michael. I'm here on Saturdays. Me llamo Michael. Estoy aquí durante los sábados trabajando como cajero y acogimos a la Grolier y vamos a empezar con las introducciones de Leonardo. Muchas gracias por venir. Disfruta la poesía.
Well, everybody, thank you for being here tonight. It's a true honor and a pleasure to introduce such a wonderful poets and speakers of words. To be or not to be, that was always the question and still the question. Some humans choose to be one thing, just occupying space in time. Others choose to admire the world in a different light, different feelings, perhaps with a criticism, perhaps trying to play God at times, trying to make it better or worse. The great William Butler Yeats once said that only through words we can conquer the divine. And tonight, talking about divinity and poetry, I have a true honor to present, and I'm going to read their biographies, and I'm also going to just tell you the structure of tonight's reading, because I don't want to take too much time from their poetry and their works. And tonight with me, we have a poet. Oh, center. Can everybody see me here?
No, it's for the Zoom.
Oh, okay. We're having a Zoom session. I guess some of my students are already there.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
everybody in the world is seeing you.
okay. Absolutely. Yes. There was a great poet in the Dominican Republic named Pedro Mir that once said, "There is a country in the world located in the same distance of the sun." If you listen to those words, you might think, so what? Who cares? Is that really important? Isn't every country in the distance of the sun? Don't we all see the morning or the afternoon? But from that island, that country in the distance of the sun, we have a great poet as well. His name is José Enrique Delmonte. And I'm going to share with you a few, a short biography. And he is a poet, a professor at the university, an architectural professor, and also, I'll say, the winner of many book awards, not only in the Dominican Republic, but also in Europe. And that will be probably the order of the readings. After I finish speaking, then I'm going to give the opportunity to José Enrique, then to Shira, then to Rhina, Juan Matos, and then we're going to close the night with having Shira and José Enrique just, sharing their poetry with us. And also, in the same order, talking about biographies, in the same country, in the trajectory of the sun, once upon a time there was a horrible dictator. His name was Rafael Leonidas Trujillo. And Trujillo was not only a terrible narcissist, was also a very cruel one. And anybody who opposed him either ended up dead or here.
In exile.
In exile. But I had the honor. Have you heard about poetic justice before? I had the opportunity to witness that when the daughter of a man and a woman who were prosecuted and banned to exile in New York City received the highest condecoration the Dominican country has to offer, La Cruz de Duarte, to who we call today La Madre de los Poetas in Rhina, Espaillat. As if, and I remember the words from Trujillo is dead. He's buried and long gone. Yet that ideals, that freedom that once he tried to eradicate was shining with the highest honor in that country in the direction of the sun. On the same hand, we have another poet coming from an oppressed community called the Batey. And the Batey is a community of a place where Haitians and Dominicans live together in harmony, but in extreme poverty. And seeing that poet becoming a professor, a mentor, and a cultural activist, creating different poetry clubs and talleres, what we call in Spanish talleres, became later Worcester Poet Laureate from 2019 to 2020. And it brings us to Shira. She's an architectural historian, but what makes this event special is because she was the one, the ideologue of taking José Enrique's words and then translating it to English, to just give the world a taste of that land once described by meeting his poem, and that land that carries a history that Rhina, Juan, and José Enrique bring in their poetry. And with that, I'm gonna close the introduction, and I'm gonna let Shira introduce José Enrique. Then it's gonna be Juan Matos, Rhina, and then we close with José Enrique again. Thank you very much.
I met José Enrique in 2000. He invited a small fledgling society, academic society that I was directing, devoted to a Berlin architect named Karl Friedrich Schinkel. We had just formed. We had a board of directors, a very prestigious board of directors with professors, Yale professors on it, and a number of other fine people. But we had no place to have conferences, and just out of the blue, José Enrique invited us all down to the Dominican Republic. It was the most extraordinary conference we had. We went on to have numbers of others, but we had such a great time in the Dominican Republic. Some years ago, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, 6 years ago, José Enrique and I reconnected on Facebook, and I found out that his love of poetry was as great as mine. My mother was very fond of poetry, and as a very young girl, I was exposed to poetry, and I now am writing poetry, but José had a book, and I said, José, I want to, and he's going to send it to me. And I said, look, my Spanish isn't so good. I speak Italian, I speak German, a little French, but I don't know Spanish well, and I'm having trouble reading your book. I want to translate it. So I translated it so I could read it. And that was the beginning of this wonderful journey that we've had. It endured a little longer from the very beginning to the end because of illnesses and deaths along the way, unfortunately. So everything was a bit slowed down, but we have the publication, and another one will be coming out, I think, in hopefully 6 months' time. And I am very devoted to the cause of Dominican poetry at the moment, and I'm very happy to further Dominican poets, as well as I'm also writing a book about architecture, but that's for another time and place. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce José Enrique Delmonte, winner of many awards, and I will read a few here first. A little bit more ado, perhaps. He won he was a winner of the Ibero-American Poetry Prize at the Madrid Book Fair, and he won the 15th Premio Internacional de Poesía León Felipe in Tabata, Zamora, Spain. I believe that there were 130 manuscripts that were sent to the latter, and his was chosen from among all the manuscripts, and he won the award. And he's also a very accomplished architect and has a double doctorate in architecture and literature. So, José Enrique, let's start.
Hola a todos, yo voy a expresarme en español, me permitieron esa licencia. Estoy muy agradecido de estar aquí en este lugar tan soñado y tan emblemático como Grolier, la librería Grolier. Y agradezco a Shira que nos encontremos aquí. Y Shira, además de todo, se ha mezclado la presencia de Shira en esta ciudad con grandes amigos de la poesía dominicana en los Estados Unidos que están aquí y que nos hemos hecho una hermandad. Entonces, para mí es un honor compartir con ustedes mi trabajo. Voy a comenzar. La idea es que yo lea en español y después ella va a traducir. ¿Ok? Entonces, voy a compartir un primer poema que se llama Inminencias, dedicado a un arquitecto dominicano que murió, un gran arquitecto dominicano, amigo mío, Emilio Brea, y yo sentí su muerte de la siguiente manera. La inminencia de las cosas toca y disloca la ficción. Una hora transparente de dos caras, un silencio rebanado por la luz. La inminencia en el verbo, donde calas esas impávidas versiones de breves apegos tiernos, de incesantes convergencias. La inminencia en el caos, la certeza en las visiones del allende o en los quiebres del después, o en los trazos de distancias aún cercanos. La inminencia del asombro, en esos rizos que se antojan eternos, galopantes en descenso, hacia ese punto donde se desnuda la inocencia. La inminencia en las cosas, en sí mismo, y al menos en la palabra, para parecer perpetuos.
I'd just like to say that this poem is dedicated to Emilio Brea, who I met once. And sometimes in our lives we meet someone once, and we remember them all our lives. He was like a Zorba the Greek of the Dominican Republic. He was a very extroverted, wonderful human being. Very, very, very charming, unforgettable. Imminences to Emilia Brea in passing. The imminence of things touches and dislocates fiction. A transparent time of two faces, a silence sliced by light. The imminence in the verb, where you soak through dauntless versions of brief, tender affections, of ceaseless convergences. The imminence of chaos, the certainty in visions beyond, or in ruptures afterwards, or in traces of distances still close by. The imminence of wonder in those curls that long for eternity, galloping in descent toward that point where innocence is naked. The imminence in things, in itself, and at least in the word, so as to appear perpetual.
El ojo descansó fuera de sí, solo en la vastedad y consistencia, ajeno a la mirada de reojo, apenas flotante en los extremos. Globo infinito en el límite de lo posible, gira, se desplaza en lo plural, en lo obvio del asombro, detenida en la inmensidad del instante, culpable de la trampa de tantas aventuras, ojo en el espectro o en el aleteo de la noche, repetido en sucesión de latitudes. El ojo de la carne, contorno del orbe, donde nadan los tiempos sumergidos en la lumbre, errante en la orfandad de sutilezas o en la estridencia del obsceno, colgado de su abismo. Ojo de tanta abundancia, ojo de lejanos desenlaces, perdido en la mirada de las cosas que ya dejaron de ser cosas.
The gaze. The eye rested outside of itself, alone in vastness and consistency, oblivious to the sidelong gaze, barely floating at the ends. Infinite globe at the limit of the possible, rotating and moving in the plurality, in the obviousness of wonder, stopped in the immensity of the instant, guilty of entrapment of so many adventures. I in the spectrum or in the flutter of night, repeated in a succession of latitudes. The eye in the flesh, the contour of the orb, where time swims, submerged in fire, wanderer in an orphanage of subtleties, or in the stridency of the obscene, hung from its abyss. Eye of much abundance, eye of distant endings, lost in the gaze of things that are no longer things.
Este es un poema cuando uno recuerda su niñez. Y entonces yo lo recuerdo cuando íbamos jugando con caballitos de madera, palitos de madera. Y entonces se llama Sobre quinos de madera. Lo importante de esos años no fue la tarde que obligó a retrasar la madurez, tampoco los sobresaltos en medio del asombro, ni las continuas lecturas de galaxias repetidas. No fue el destino escogido, imbuidos de escozor, ni la complejidad de lo simple, que moraba en el entorno, ni la certeza de esa voz sometida a prueba. Lo importante no fue la grandeza de los miedos, cuando nos sabíamos vulnerables al tiempo, ni la secuela de conquista sobre quinos de madera, ni la ampliación de los afectos asentados en lazos. Lo importante, apenas lo que queda.
On wooden horses. On wooden horses. The important thing about those years was not the afternoon that made us delay maturity. Neither were the upheavals amid astonishment, nor the continuous readings of repeated galaxies. It was not the destiny of choice, imbued with burning sensations, nor the complexity of the simple that dwelt in the surroundings, nor the certainty of that voice put to the test. The important thing was not the greatness of fears when we knew one another, vulnerable to time, nor the sequel of conquests on wooden horses, nor the broadening of affections fastened with ties. The important thing is only that which remains.
Los dominicanos que me acompañan y los latinos saben que cuando llueve, niños esperamos la lluvia para bañarnos en la lluvia. Eso era un festival. Entonces disfrutamos de ese momento con pantaloncitos cortos y hacíamos de todo en ese ambiente. Y yo recuerdo ese momento y le dedico un poema a esas lluvias que eran tan emblemáticas para nosotros. Ranuras en el aire. Parecían carcajadas en descenso o ranuras en el aire, o episodios de humedades, tanta gente que acude a la batalla de torrentes. Nosotros asumíamos el rito, intuidos por el golpe del sureste. Éramos una manada en espera, con inquietud por someternos a su toque. La cara atenta, la piel rebelde, a lo tibio, a lo tenue, a lo nuevo en el estío. Parecían rumores de maracas, salpicadas de fondo, y nosotros festivos, desdibujados por las gotas que nos vestían de halagos, y nosotros desnudos, inertes, atrapados en la inmensidad del iris, asomados a la dicha.
Slits in the air. They seem like laughter in descent, or slits in the air, or episodes of dampness. So many people come to the battle of torrents. We took on that right, sensed by the southeastern wind. We were a waiting herd, restless to submit to its touch, to the warmth, to the softness, to the new, the attentive face, the rebellious skin in summer. It seemed like sounds of maracas sprinkled in the background, and we were festive, splashed by the droplets that dressed us in flattery, and we, naked, trapped inert in the immensity of the iris, peering into the bliss.
Great. So now that we have tasted José Enrique's poetry, we're going to continue with the program. We're going to give the opportunity to Rhina, Juan, and then we're going to close again with the second session, like we promised, of José Enrique's poetry again. Yeah.
I'm very glad, very, very glad to be here, very honored to be here. I'm going to do poems about people who come from far away, what we put up with, what we enjoy, what we give thanks for, what we're grateful for, and a little bit about just the people. Here's one called The Coward's Song, but I'm going to read it in Spanish first. La canción del cobarde. Me dijo el sol, despierta, y se encendió. Pero yo soy sensata, y lo dejé ardiendo en su pasión y se apagó. Brota, dijo la lluvia. Mejor no, se brota y se marchita, así pensé, y cerré mi verdor y se secó. Siembra, me dijo el viento, y se arrojó por todo el campo. Loco, contesté, te perderás así, y se perdió. Sin huella, en su locura. Y me tocó a mí heredar esta nada en que quedé, en que quedamos dos, la muerte y yo. Y aquí está en inglés por la otra mitad de mi familia, porque tengo dos familias, dos tierras y dos banderas. The Coward Song. Awaken, said the sun, and there was sky. But I'm the cautious kind. I let that brand burn all alone and blacken by and by. The rain said blossom, but I thought, no, why? Since everything that blossoms withers. And I folded up my green and watched it dry. The wind said seed time and rode frenzied high and low over the field on every hand. Madman, you're lost. And he could not deny, for lost he was. The truth of my reply, my lot, this emptiness in which I stand, in which we stand together, death and I. And here I will read another about an old friend whom I remember very well because we knew each other for a long time, Socrates. Some of us are older than others. Socrates, listen, inquisitive old goat. forever chasing phantoms that spurred such a wealth of matter. It was all he wrote from Plato. It's a nuisance, it's too much. Your yearning for eternal light, unknown paths into distant thought, give it all up. Your endless thirst for wine, the gods alone may drink, not meant for any human cup. Don't you know you're just earth, the litter of this place, flawed, wretched, insecure? That the heart lives on what ignorant love can salvage from the desert, like this poor woman, the man beside you, standing here so far from the ideal, mortal and dear. And I'm not going to read that one, but I'll read this one in English, and I hope you don't consider it off color, because, you know, after all, it is underwear. It's called bra. What a good fit! But the label says Honduras. Alas, I am union forever. Yes, both breasts and the heart between them committed to U.S. labor. But such a splendid fit. And the label tells me the woman who made it, bronze as the breasts now in it, speaks the language I dream in. I count in Spanish the pesos she made stitching this breast divider. Will they go for her son's tuition, her daughter's wedding? The thought is a lovely fit, but oh, the label. And oh, those pesos that may be pennies and hard-earned. Was it son or daughter who made this, unschooled, unwedded? How old? 14? 10? That fear is a tight fit. If only the heart could be worn like the breast, divided, nosing in two directions for news of the wide world, sniffing here and there for justice, for mercy. How burdened every choice is with politics, guilt, expensive with duty, heavy as breasts in need of this perfect fit, whose label says Honduras.
Yeah.
Now I'm bragging. This is family pictures. These are my two sons, statues that my husband made of their son, my boys standing, looking at each other and having an argument as usual. And I'll do just a couple of those. Petronila, la tejedora. That's Petronila, the woman the woman in front of the loom, the woman who is creating something with the loom. And Petronila, well, Petronila is one of my big disappointments, because my father told me when I was already a teenager that I had a great-great-grandfather who had slaves. And I broke out into tears because I was ashamed. I didn't want to have an ancestor of any age. It doesn't matter to me. I just did not want to have any people who went through that, thanks to the other ones who came here from elsewhere. But anyway, it happened, and here it is. So I'm speaking to her because I speak to the dead all the time. They're good company. Petronila. En el árbol familiar de mi ascendencia he dado con tu nombre. En un borroso renglón que quiere aunar tu vida con la vida de aquel hombre, ¿cuántos matátaros son, si he de contar, que te llevó al altar? Aquel hijo de España enamorado te entregó mi apellido, te fue fiel, supo honrar en tu carne al desdichado biso, tétero, abuelo que secuestrado en África en trabas nos legó esta piel entre canela y miel. Quiso con la moneda de su amor pagar la horrenda deuda incalculable debida a los que fuerza de labor obligado y trato abominable crearon en mi tierra gran valor y culpa imperdonable. Nombrada entre los míos en esta fila, no hay seña que indica si sufriste, pero tu origen abarca asunto triste. Con tan ásperas fibras, ¿cómo hila el amor su seda? Pero en tu vientre urdiste mi pueblo, Petronila. That is a kind of applause for the African mother to whom we owe our countries, most of them, and the Indian mother too, to whom we owe the rest of our mothers. And let me see. Well, here another one, a good friend, a wonderful friend that I had in the Queens when I lived there, and she's gone now, and I miss her very much. I met her as an escape from World War II. She escaped with very few of her members of her family. She was mostly alone when she came here, but she managed to live like a person, and she managed not to weep over her past, but be grateful for her future and for her present. And this is for you, Uyala. These children's faces are kind, but she rises wielding history, the steel of her words flashing, the truth of her words dealing the wound they mean to heal but cannot. The children are here, but she is listening elsewhere. The dead whisper in her bones as she rises to speak their absence with her soundless pulse, challenging silence. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. It's really a pleasure being here with friends, lots of friends, and celebrating the new book of our beloved José Enrique Delmonte. I'm going to share a couple of poems, and it seems the history goes back, at least, what is the things that are happening every single day in our streets. La bota sobre el cuello, otra vez. But on truth. On the throat of history, there is a suffocating black boot that bears the weight of dominant whiteness. The hands of history are bound behind her by modern shackles, white and sharp-edged plastic that also hobble the black ankles of history as she gapes and mows. I can't breathe. No puedo respirar. The ancestral boot is powerful, notes its own authority, ignores the clamor of history, unfeeling toward that throat and the life being snuffed out under its weight of white centuries. The boot perpetuates suffocation for centuries, repeated, castrating. It discriminates, pursues, accuses, beats, imprisons, dehumanizes, buries the tombs to keep history hiding away the same history murderous by boot. That ignored, silences, forbidden, histories now attired, enhanced with cosmetics, combat by the force of the boot that centuries-old oppression, omnipresent in the streets, in the prisons, falsified in schools, denied before the altars, blindfold in the courts of law. History. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the name of history is given. There has been so many of her son sniffed under that, but that another symbol is just one more, and one more, like the one yesterday, like the one today in any street by ice, and tomorrow, one more, until a volcanic eruption of sophisticated thought burns the universe apart. After that other corpse, that will not be the last of the corpses, and all of yesterday of corpses explode like lava with today's howl down the multiple streets with the cry of the world. Those indignation floats, the walls of hate, the structure of hate, with an oceanic shout of enough, enough, full of shame and a telluric beat of vociferous avalanche. I can't breathe, no puedo respirar. I can't breathe. And in the street with angry hearts and every latitude among all races, the swallows roll of unison, a single fanfare determined to destroy the genocidal boots, and shining clamor reinvents the future without those infamous boots on the body of a new history, written, yes, written by the people. Diálogo para uno. No me da miedo comenzar de nuevo. No me da miedo. No temo entrar en la noche sin abrigo. Ya el día tejió sobre mí trincheras. No me da miedo. No me da miedo comenzar de nuevo. Romper el ritmo de las horas diarias y decirme, ya es tarde la mañana, o bien ignorar la amenaza del tiempo. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué temer? ¿Por qué temer el comenzar de nuevo? Desconocer la muerte suele ser la libertad. Sí, desconocer la muerte suele ser la libertad. ¿Para qué? ¿Para qué? ¿Para qué asirme si solo me limito? ¿Para qué? No. No me da miedo comenzar de nuevo. No, no me da miedo. No, no me da miedo comenzar de nuevo. I do not fear beginning once again. I do not fear the night without protection because the day wolves strangers over me. I do not fear beginning once again. Breaking the rhythm of the hours to tell myself the morning has come late. And I don't care. I don't care what weather to expect. Why? Why? Why should I fear beginning once again? Ignoring death. Ignoring death is how freedom is won. Yes, ignoring death is how freedom is won. Why? Why chain myself to what can only bind me? I will not. I will not fear beginning once again. No, no, no. I will not fear beginning once again. Good night.
Thank you so much. And like we promised, we're gonna have now a second round with José Enrique. But before we pass to José Enrique, tomorrow night we're gonna have a second reading, and I'm gonna have these flyers right here. Anybody can take one with you. It's gonna be at Little Crepe Cafe here in Oxford Street. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. We're gonna have a night of poetry by by José Enrique, being introduced by Cristina Cortez, another local poet. So I'm gonna leave the flyers right here. And also for those who speak Spanish, I brought some Spanish prose books. If they're free to take some of my writing. And by the way, my name is Leonardo. I didn't have the chance to do it earlier because I was so excited to be here introducing the poets. I am also a local poet, an anthropologist, a writer, and just you know, a friend and a brother.
Musician.
Oh yeah, that's true. Every once in a while. So, but without further ado, I would like to introduce again José Enrique with the second round of poems. Thank you.
Shira eligió que hiciéramos este poema. Es interesante porque, Leonardo, deberías traducirme
Okay.
esto que voy a decir.
He's saying that Shira chose to read this poem
This one. Porque este poema
because this poem is
trata
about
sobre la ciudad,
the
que es
city.
escenario de muchas cosas.
It's a scenery of many things.
Entonces, en mi barrio, donde yo era niño,
In my neighborhood, when I was a child,
3 o 4 años antes,
3 or 4 years
había
before,
una guerra civil,
there was a
que murieron muchos
civil war
dominicanos,
that many
una
Dominicans
guerra
died.
política que incluso incluyó a una invasión norteamericana en el país.
It was a political civil war that led to the invasion by the United States.
Pero en este poema,
But in this poem,
yo, niño al fin,
as
desconocía
a
todo
child,
eso,
I
y en
know
esas
that.
mismas calles que hubo sangre, que hubo guerra, que
In
hubo todo,
the same streets
yo
where
veía
there
el
was
mundo de
war,
otra
blood.
manera. Para mí era mi barrio, mis calles, mi vecindario.
But for me,
Entonces,
they were my streets, my neighborhood. It was my life as a child.
las calles de piedra, las sombras crujientes, el bullicio, la mugre, las ofertas, el ruido, se rumian vapores, se afianzan quimeras, apuestan futuros, se gime, se llora, en los días sin nombre a mediados de abril, como si abril fuera ahora a mediados del año. Las noches tan graves, con su brisa del norte, domadora de muros, con las luces, no sé, como si fueran ostras o puñados de niebla, como si marcharan dóciles en la sien o en el lodo. Y los nuevos se agrupan con sus caras de triunfo, anudados, confusos, aterrados, sobre andenes de sangre, de estiércol o de sal. La calle que quiebra, las puertas abiertas, los patios que guardan los silencios ajenos, tanta distancia absurda, tantas ausencias ahora, y la risa persiste en superar aquel tiempo.
Ay.
That neighborhood. The streets of stone, the creaking shadows, the bustle, the filth, the offers, the noise. Vapors wander, chimeras take hold, futures are wagered. There are city moans and cries on nameless days in the middle of April, as if April were in the middle of the year. The night so grave with their northerly breeze, taming the walls with lights, I don't know, as if they were oysters or handfuls of fog, as if marching docile in the forehead or mud. And the new ones come together with their faces of triumph, knotted, confused, terrified, on platforms of blood, of manure or salt. The street that breaks the doors open, the courtyards that keep the silences of others. Such an absurd distance, so many absences now, and laughter persists to surpass that time.
Yeah.
La República Dominicana comparte una isla con Haití.
The Dominican Republic shares half the island with Haiti.
Eso crea muchas tensiones entre ambos países por muchas razones históricas.
And therefore, that creates a lot of tension because of many historical reasons.
Y uno se hace muchas preguntas.
And sometimes we wonder and ask many questions.
Y parte de esas preguntas están en este poema.
And many of those questions are in this poem.
La tierra se divide en tantas partes como la suma de los poros de la muchedumbre enardecida pueda aspirar. Una línea es eso, una marca que se coloca de un lado o de otro y te obliga a parecerte a los que quedaron de tu lado. Hay universos que no se tocan porque pueden convertirse en pasadizos hacia un olvido rugoso. Yo no sé. Cuando me coloco en el borde, veo ambos lados iguales. Alguien destruye la convicción que asumo para decirme que los pendones ondulan horizontales, que las orugas se encuentran en la cima y se retiran en fila hacia el pasto donde murió la mariposa germinal. Si alguna vez dialogas en el hueco, escucharás las palabras más feroces que aún no puedes descifrar. Es la conversación entre anatemas, entre bruma de altivez que simboliza la otredad. Incluso hay colores que no son tuyos, que no te pertenecen, a sombras que cobijan la siesta de los que han ganado las medallas del olvido, colores versiones de densidades muy profundas que una vez flotaron a ambos lados. Hay inseguridad. Cuando quieres afincar tus pasos en la marca diluida de lo propio, se asemeja al agridulce de las cosas intermitentes donde pones la mirada o la lengua. Hay dolor que a veces no es el tuyo, pero los gritos de los otros te contagian, hasta prescindir de tus extremidades. Te desprendes cuando sufres, te revuelcas cuando duele, te vacías cuando te llenas de tanto odio, de tantas posibilidades de infierno, sobre capas de los que nos han precedido. La tierra se humedece cuando una sola gota es capaz de aposentarse en las grietas donde persiste la vida. Amén. A un lado florece al menos un jazmín, alimentado por las raíces que soportan la otra parte. A un lado se humedecen las sendas y se anegan de esperanza. A un lado, solo, la posibilidad de un mañana o la certeza que brotará la valentía. A un lado la soledad inmensa donde nada es tan verdad como la mano que prohíbe el descanso. Hay tantos universos que no se pueden tocar porque mueren al instante como muere el jazmín que se humedece.
Someone said we are different. The earth divides into as many parts as the sum of pores of that inflamed crowd that can inhale a line that is a mark, that places you on one side or the other and forces you to look like the ones left on your side. Some universes do not touch because they can become alleys to a rough oblivion. I don't know. When I stand on the edge, I see both sides as equal. Someone destroys the conviction I assume to tell me that banners wave horizontally, that caterpillars meet at the top and retreat in a line to the grassland where the germinal butterfly died. If you ever have a dialogue in a hole, you will hear the fiercest words that you still cannot decipher. It is the conversation between anathemas amidst the haughtiness that symbolizes otherness. Furthermore, some colors are not yours. They do not belong to you. Shadows that shelter the siesta of those who have won the medals of oblivion. Colors and versions of the deepest densities that once floated toward both sides. There is insecurity when you want to affirm your steps in the diluted mark of the self. It resembles the bitter sweet of intermittent things where you direct your gaze or your tongue. Sometimes there is pain that is not yours, but the cries of others are contagious. Until you lose your extremities, you let go when you suffer, you wallow when it hurts, you become empty when filled with so much hatred towards so many possibilities of hell, over layers of what has gone on before us. The earth is wet when only a single drop can settle down in the cracks where life persists. On one side, at least one jasmine blooms, nourished by roots that support the other part. On one side, paths are moistened and are flooded by hope. On one side only is the possibility of tomorrow, or the certainty that courage will sprout. On one side, the immense solitude where nothing is so true as a hand that prohibits rest. There are so many universes that cannot touch because they die instantly, like jasmine dies when it is moistened.
Las abejas zurdas sueñan futuros en diestra y huyen de la pesadez en las cosas inertes. Duele el aguijón que traspasa mi nombre. Las abejas zurdas caminan con dos patas, cabalgan desnudas en el barro profundo, nadadoras en saliva de marsopas, rumian pasadizos de troncos, impares de mañanas tibias. Las abejas cargan la consistencia en sus alas, diminutas alas que resaltan opacas. Las veo buscando el rojo o el ocre en la transparencia del verde, ávidas de sangre, rojas de melancolía. No hay más tristeza que la necesidad de lo ausente. Hay abejas zurdas que derraman palabras al estambre, aquietadas en luz, celebran en silencio cuando se abre la dimensión de lo intemporal.
Left-handed bees walk with two legs. Left-handed bees dream of right-handed futures and fly away from the heaviness of inert things. It hurts, the stinger that penetrates my name. Left-handed bees walk with two legs, ride naked in deep mud, swimmers in porpoise saliva. They wander in passageways on mild mornings. Bees bear consistency in their wings, tiny wings that stand out opaque. I see them looking for red or ochre in the transparency of greenery. Are they eager for blood, red with melancholy? There is no greater sadness than the necessity of the absent thing. There are left-handed bees that spill words on the stamen, calmed in light. They celebrate in silence when the dimension of the timeless opens.
Cuando por fin llegas a la arista, reconoces que has tocado el cosmos. ¿Te das cuenta que es casi un arrecife? Se parece tanto a esos bordes entre la bondad y la incertidumbre. La tocas y sientes la peligrosa ansiedad de dividirlos antes. ¡Ah! Emites ese grito en medio de la nada que se queda flotando a la espera de algún hueco de escape. ¿Ha valido la pena atravesar la densidad montado en las alas de la única libélula sin miedo que confío en ti? Lo sientes y te estremeces. Es la primera vez que tu corazón gira hacia el lado inverso. ¿Dónde ha quedado el ojo que podía ver el color turquesa? Te convences que este es el vacío, ese instante de las cosas plegadas sobre sí mismas. Y ves las palabras que piensas, suspendidas en la punta de la raya imaginaria de la hora. No sabes qué hacer, con tanta extravagancia posible, y te cae una gota en la cara que te humedece la memoria y te acerca al abandono de lo absurdo. Ya ves el turquesa en tu mano y sabes que retornas al lugar donde el vacío se expande y las libélulas ríen.
On dragonflies, when you finally get to the limit, you recognize that you have touched the cosmos. Do you realize it's almost a reef? It looks so much like those edges between kindness and uncertainty. You touch it and feel the dangerous anxiety of dividing what came before. Ah, you emit that scream in the middle of the nothing that floats around waiting for some escape route. Was it worth going through the density mounted on the wings of the one fearless dragonfly who trusted you? You feel it and you tremble. It is the first time your heart spins sideways. Where is the eye that could see the color turquoise? You convince yourself that this is the void, the moment of things, and you see the words that you think suspended on the tip of the imaginary line of now. You don't know what to do with so much possible extravagance, and a drop falls on your face that moistens your memory and brings you closer to abandoning the absurd. You see the turquoise in your hand, and you know you are going back to that place where emptiness expands and dragonflies laugh.
I would like to take the opportunity now to join two different communities tonight, because the members of the New England Poetry Club know one another for sure. But there's also another community, a local community of writers that are here tonight. And as I mention your names, I would like you to either stand up or just kind of wait so everybody can get a chance to know you. And I would like to acknowledge tonight the presence of my friend, the poet Franklin Peralta. He's the editor on Iboa Literaria from Santiago, Dominican Republic, and a citizen of Jamaica Plain. So local Dominican writer as well. I would like to acknowledge Cristina Cortez as well. And as I mentioned, she's going to be doing the introduction tomorrow at the Little Crepe Cafe, 7 p.m., 102 Oxford Street. At the end, it's going to be an open mic night. So bring your poetry, bring your writings, and share it with us. I couldn't, pass the opportunity to introduce a great writer, intellectual, Alan Smith. And two dear friends of mine, and also the organizers of La Guagua, mentors to a great group of students at Middlesex Community College. My colleagues, friends, poet William Ramirez and Jonathan Bennett. And I guess time flies when you're having fun. So Matos asked me for an image of all the four poets over here. Also, I would like the four exponents tonight to kind of stand so our friends online can see you together on the camera. And at the same time, if you have any questions for the poets, any, comments, now is the time. So, Matos,
And also, we have powwow poetry.
Oh, that's right, the powwow group. My apologies. Well, if you don't mind standing up. Yeah, the powwow. Very much Alfred Nichols. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
There we go. My Rhina over there.
Wow.
Thank you. Vamos a ver dónde estamos. Cristina nos las envía, por favor.
Yeah.
Ahí estaba madre. Thank you all for being here.
So any comments, questions for the poets? Now's the time.
Could I say something?
Please, by all means.
We heard something about flies and how bees can be one-sided, left hand, left foot, right foot. That's all true, by the way. I never knew it before. This is something I've learned only recently. And it occurs to me that there are a great many things that science can teach us and that we're not aware enough of them. Or if we know them, we don't pay enough attention. The fact is, and this is science now, I'm wearing my science hat, we are one family. Quite literally, the human race is one family. Whatever it came from, whatever washed up on the shore from the beach, whatever some creature laid an egg that turned into us with both left and right hands, we are one family. And I think it's very important to remember that, because that is what makes us owe one another everything. Everything. everything.
Thank you. Now, Shira, where can we get the book? The translated. Where can we get the translated works? The book. Where can we get it?
Here.
Here.
You can get it at the Grolier.
Right here.
Yes.
So.
Oh,
If anyone's interested in purchasing a book today,
I have a book
James
here.
would be able to help with that, or we have a signing here afterward.
Absolutely.
Or...
I have a few words to say on behalf of the Grolier. First, I want to say thank you to all the poets and translators for this phenomenal reading. Let's give them a round of applause tonight.
Un placer a todos los poetas que están aquí esta noche.
Thank you to the New England Poetry Club for co-sponsoring this reading.
Gracias al Club de Poetas de Nueva Inglaterra por ser un co-sponsor de este evento.
And in particular to David Miller, who's in the back there. Thank you, David. For Thank you to Leonardo and Nin for giving the wonderful introductions. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you, and thank you to everyone on Zoom for attending this evening. It was a wonderful reading. We have some books for sale. Poets will be signing books. If you'd all please put your chairs up against one of the walls, I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much.
Gracias a todos los que están en línea. Tenemos libros a la venta. Tenemos los libros de Rhina Espaillat también acá. Y los de José Enrique Delmonte.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellent. Let's get a photo. Can I get a photo of the four for you, plus Leonardo, before things get too crazy? Yeah.
Rhina, one.
Can we get a photo from the Grolier real quick? That'd be great. I didn't get one in the back. It was too far away. Yeah, that'd be great.
Leonardo.
Thank you.
Leonardo. Juan Matos. Is he still here?
Yes.
Juan here?
Leonardo, can you give one, please?
One colleague over here.
¿Me llaman?
Sí, sí, una foto.
Vamos.
Remember, tomorrow at 7.
Madre.
Tomorrow at 7 at Little Crab Cafe 102.
Leo, te llaman.
Yeah.
Shall we go to a
Of course.
restaurant afterwards? Would you like to go to the
¿Qué dice?
Hong Kong?
Yes.
Do you want to go to the Hong Kong Chinese restaurant?
No, I gotta go home. Yeah, I need to go home.
You have to move yours.
She's with Alfred. Manito.
Yo las tengo, hermano. Yo las tengo. Pero mándalas así, para ahora.
Ponla arriba. Ponla desde arriba.
¿Le gustó?
Buenísimo.
Aquí yo no No.
I can take some with your phone too.
If you don't mind taking
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Such a wonderful, wonderful experience. And do me a favor, please record those poems in your voice. You are an extraordinary poetry reader. Extraordinary.
In a great translator.
Definitely. You can feel, you can see. Definitely. Right there.
The photo time.
So please record those poems. Que lo grabe.
Let's do it.
Vamos, he wants us. There we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now a few for this phone. Excellent.
One more, please.
Yes, sir.
Just one more.
Yes, sir.
Juan, tú los mandas de tu celular.
I will send it, I promise. There we go.
Make me good looking like her.
You look beautiful.
Okay. Gracias.
Excellent.
Thank you so very much. I need your phone and your email.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you my card.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Are you sharing the link for this?